Hey guys, what's up? This is Dingo Crikey here with another commentary video. This time I'm going to be doing a general Transformers and channel Q&A. If you are interested in more news and commentary on Transformers 5, the Transformers Generations toy line, or the Transformers Robots in Disguise cartoon, then you can check out my playlist and channel where you can also find over 20 of my Transformers stop motion videos, some of which are previewed here. But, like I said, this is just a Transformers and channel Q&A where I'm just going to try to wrap up some questions that I can't necessarily dedicate an entire video to, but I would like to address. Most of these are older questions, ones that I hadn't got to in a while but had been planning to, in which case, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of names written down for the people who asked these questions, and some of them date a few weeks back, so they're pretty old. You might not even remember asking them. Anyways, I'll try to keep this quick. First up, we have two questions from user 2004 Orion Vikning. I'm probably screwing that up. I'll put an annotation with the correct name though. His first question pertains to Transformers Robots in Disguise, but it contains spoilers for Transformers Prime. Anyways, he basically was asking whether or not I think Airachnid would appear in Transformers Robots in Disguise. As by the end of Transformers Prime, Airachnid wasn't officially dead, though we could say she wasn't really herself anymore. In regards to the question, I think it depends on the way the series goes. Like, if it stays strictly to the idea that the only villains are Decepticons from this escaped ship, then no, we won't see Airachnid appear in the series. But in my predictions, Robots in Disguise is eventually going to go beyond that. They've made several references to Transformers Prime. It even looks like in the Japanese opening for the show we see a silhouette of someone who could be Megatron, so, maybe they'll be bringing him in. We'll have to see. I do think there is a good chance we will see Airachnid in Robots in Disguise, though. I mean, one of the things is they might want to start bringing in some older concepts from Prime just to surprise and appease people, but also, because it's not necessarily received so well by everyone, it might make Prime fans think more positively about it. Also, there are some dangling concepts in Robots in Disguise that they could tie up. And as far as Arachnid's appearance and the fact that she's a beast bot in a way, would work really well for having her fit in with the rest of the villains in the series. I mean, maybe with some design modifications, I think she would fit in perfectly. The only thing would really be that her character and her backstory is probably darker than a lot of other characters in Robots in Disguise, so I'm not sure whether they would want to include her for that, but maybe they would anyways, or maybe they would just tone it down. Either way, I think it's highly probable that we could see Airachnid appear in Robots in Disguise, and I think it would be really, really cool if we did. Though I thought the ending they had given her character in Transformers Prime was satisfying. Kind of shocking too, so I liked it. That same user also asked if I plan on doing reviews for some of the older Transformers series, or just the series in the past, such as Energon, Cybertron, Armada, etc. Yes, I definitely do plan to go back and review those series. Not only as a whole, but for each of them I would like to go back and review each episode, starting with G1 and going onward from there. The only thing is that with Robots in Disguise running, that's where I'm focusing my time in regards to reviewing Transformers episodes. Sometimes I'll throw in, an episode of Armada and Beast Wars and watch it on my own, but I'm not really watching it in a reviewing sense right now. So my plan is something like when Robots in Disguise ends, I'll start watching G1 through all the way up until the new cartoon comes along, and maybe I'll get to Beast Wars. G1's pretty long, though. Maybe I wouldn't have finished it up. We'll have to see. Also, if they take a break in Robots in Disguise, I might do a few G1 episodes until they bring the show back for Season 2. and then return to Robots in Disguise. Then when it finishes up, go back to G1, and so on, so on. While I have watched almost all of the Transformers series all the way through, it's been a while with some of them, so I couldn't really give a good opinion right now, and I want to review each episode in most cases. Also, I do plan on doing reviews for the Transformers comics when I get around to reading them, and for the Transformers books. I actually picked up Transformers Exodus recently, and I'm in the middle of reading another book right now, but I do plan to getting to that sometime soon, so you can watch out for a review of that. I won't be reviewing any of the Transformer video games, even the new ones that come out. To be honest, I'm just not a gamer. The only Transformers game I've played up to this point is War for Cybertron, and while I enjoy it, I just don't like spending all of that time playing through the campaign modes and just playing that game. More or less what I'd rather do is just play through an escalation mode on the weekend, and that's about it. Yeah, I'm basically not doing any Transformer video game reviews. Another question from a user whose name I didn't write down. Sorry about that, but hopefully you'll know who you are. And their question was, what do I think Galvatron will transform into in Transformers 5? With that, I honestly don't really know. I'm not even sure if they are going to change his design, because they seem to have a pretty good thing going right now with him being sort of like Nemesis Prime. He has a pretty good design too. They might not want to start changing his design because, you know, this is a new trilogy and they've already done it so much in the past. That's my opinion on the matter, is that he's already had so many design changes. Just let Galvatron/Megatron keep his design at least for Transformers 5 and then maybe upgrade it in Transformers 6. And I really like this design. I really liked the Age of Extinction figure. I would prefer something with a more complex transformation, so maybe we'll get a leader class Galvatron in the Transformers 5 toy line. That would be really cool. Nevertheless, if they were going to change his design, I would like to see him as some type of an aircraft. For one thing, it makes the most sense. If he's going to upgrade his design, why would he change to another terrain vehicle? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Plus, if you're someone like him who wants to get around quickly, evade the Autobots, it makes sense that you'd want to be a jet. Also, we haven't seen him as any kind of aircraft since the first film, and I think it works pretty well with Megatron, so I would like to see them go that avenue with him. Preferably not something like a Raptor or an F-22, maybe something like a stealth bomber with a vehicle that looks that streamlined and sleek, but also kind of has a big appearance, really works with Galvatron's new design and the new feel to his character. I know he was a canon in G1. I don't want to see them do that. It wouldn't really make that much sense, wouldn't be that much of an upgrade. Now, I would like to see something like maybe an intermediate mode between robot mode and jet mode, like Mixmaster had in Revenge of the Fallen, where he might have a cannon front. I think that would be really cool. I love Mixmaster's design for one thing, and it would also be a nice homage to G1 without going all the way. So yeah, don't change Galvatron's design, at least in my opinion, but if you are going to, give him something like a stealth bomber. The next question is, what are my thoughts on Transformers third-party content figures? This is something that someone had posted in the comments of one of my videos, and I believe I had replied to the user, but I thought it was worth mentioning here anyways, because it is a really big thing within Transformers media, probably bigger than it's ever been, and I thought I would give my thoughts on it. Third-party content, I really don't have any problems with it. I don't own any third-party figures. I do know someone who buys a lot of them, and from what I've seen, they're very impressive. It's just that they're also very expensive in a lot of cases. But they display great accuracy to whatever character they're trying to represent, have some really, really unique ideas for things like new characters. There's just a lot of cool stuff that can be done there. They can also target towards collectors more specifically, and I think that's really cool. Until I was asked this question, I didn't really know there was a big problem with third-party content. But then I did some looking around on message boards, and I found out that there are a lot of people who don't like Transformers third-party content. Now, if you are one of those people, I don't want to misrepresent or marginalize your opinion, but from what I see, it generally has to do with the fact that it's become so big. It's no longer just something on the side where you'll occasionally get cool figures, and it kind of creates conflict with main lines, I guess, in which figures should be considered canon, I guess, the official release or not, something like that. From what I understand, a lot of people didn't have a problem with third-party stuff early on, but as time has went on, third-party stuff is huge. I mean, it seems like there's small companies who just produce third-party figures. Maybe they do it for stuff other than Transformers, but they definitely do it with Transformers too. And when you look on Transformers websites, fan sites, third-party news is a common thing. And I know that really annoys a lot of people. I could see where that opinion comes from, because it does make it kind of hard to draw the line between what is like fans' projects and what is the official releases, and what should be considered official, what could be considered third party. Maybe some people have a problem with the fact that people are making money off of this stuff. I have no problem with that. I mean, if you can figure out a way to make money off of Transformers, a way to succeed, and that's awesome. If you can pull in some money to support yourself, then why not? Good for you. That's my opinion. So overall, I don't have a problem with third-party stuff. I'm probably not going to get really into buying it, because for me, I like having a consistent line that I can collect. Now, there are sometimes some figures that I'll just see off to the side, like, for example, a figure in Beast Wars called Transcuto that was just like, oh, this is cool, I want to pick this up. But I didn't collect the whole Beast Wars line. That's what I would probably do with something like third-party figures. But once again, it's really expensive, so I'm not going to really be buying it. I'm sure that's the case with a lot of people, but it does look really cool. A lot of it looks better than the mainline stuff, and I definitely don't have a problem with it, though I could see why some people might. Last question for this video comes from user Storminator54, and that is, do you think Hot Shot and Bumblebee could work in the same series as both members of the main cast? Absolutely. I think that would be really, really cool if it were done right. It could be done wrong if they kind of played on the fact that these are two characters who have kind of interchanged roles too much, and they kind of make too many jokes to the Transformers community. Personally, I really wouldn't like that. Transformers Animated did that kind of stuff a lot, and I thought it got really overbearing. But if they just treated them as two characters within the same series, I think it would be really cool. Because they are kind of similar characters when they're just with their respective teams. Even though they are different, they're similar in some ways. But I think if they were both on the same team, a lot of their differences would become a lot more evident. Like, I think they would get along at times, but I definitely think there would be conflict between the two. Like looking at, let's say, Robots in Disguise / Prime Bumblebee and Armada Hot Shot. I think they would have their problems. For one thing, Hot Shot's a lot more overconfident. He's a lot more aggressive than Bumblebee. Bumblebee is definitely a daredevil, but at Robots in Disguise point, he's kind of sitting back a little bit more, being more cautious, whereas even when Hot Shot's in more authority positions, we don't really see him dealing with it as well as Bumblebee does. He kind of beats up on himself, both of them do, but I think in different ways. Bumblebee tends to get kind of sad when he doesn't feel like he's living up to the expectations he should, whereas Hot Shot just gets really, really angry, and eventually he might get sad, but Hot Shot tends to react to things with anger, Bumblebee a little bit more with just being sad about it. Also, I think they would kind of compete with each other because they are both kind of daredevils. They like to take risk, and I think that would be cool. It could add an aspect of their relationship that is more positive, where you definitely would have the negative stuff going on, and I think that's cool. There aren't enough multi-dimensional relationships within Transformers characters in series anymore. I mean, we did have that in Beast Wars, but in some other series here and there, we don't see it a whole lot, and I think that would be really cool. Also, kind of going back to my first point, we usually have the layout where you have your leader character, your character who's a little bit more serious and likes to stick by the book, then you might have a kind of grumpy character, and then in the midst of that, you have this cool young character who is the one character who younger fans are supposed to really relate to. I think it would be really cool if they broke that trend and put Hot Shot and Bumblebee both on the same team. And I think there could be a lot of great development for them individually, but also them together, because I definitely think they would clash and get along on a number of issues. They wouldn't just both be on the same team ignoring each other. Now, we do see more of those relationships with Robots in Disguise. It doesn't seem quite as tropey as far as the characters go, at least not in the way Transformers usually is. Maybe it's a little bit more like regular cartoons, but I do like the layout of the team. We kind of see some interesting dynamics between Bumblebee and Sideswipe, and I'm really liking that so far. We don't get to see it in Transformers so much. So yeah, I do think Hot Shot and Bumblebee could work. I don't really see any reason why they shouldn't do it. It should be done by now. I would love to see Hot Shot in Robots in Disguise, so we'll have to see if that happens. Anyways, that wraps up all my questions and answers for this video. If you have any questions that you would like to submit for future Q&As or just for topic suggestions for videos, then leave them in the comment section below. It could just be general Transformers suggestions like the Hot Shot and Bumblebee thing, or it could pertain to Transformers 5, the Robots in Disguise cartoon, the Transformers Generations toy line, or something like third-party content. Just leave it in the comment section below and I'll get to looking at it. Also, if you are interested in more Transformers commentary, more Transformers Q&A, you can check out my playlist and channel, and you could also check out some of my Transformers stop motion videos there. That's all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Transformers commentary, and have a good one, guys.